And here we go. We are live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris. This is my channel, We Love Comics. How are you today? Hopefully you are having a good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on what time you are so kind to watch this video. And even if you're not a subscriber, I totally appreciate you taking the time to watch. So I got myself a little comic haul. Instead of doing a whole bunch of unboxings, I decided to unbox a bunch of them and do one video of a comic haul, so this way you're not spending all the time watching me cut open boxes. I want to remind people, if you have not cast your vote for your choice to be able to decide what book you would want to see to get graded in the end of this month's 4 books I will be sending to PGX, go to the community section of my main page. You will see the voting there. You could vote for the one that you want to see the most. And the votes are good until basically the last week of February. We will see which 3 of those 5 will be selected. The last spot for the 3rd spot looks like it's only 1% between 2 different comics, so your votes are definitely going to change it. So if you get the opportunity, cast your vote. It is free to do, and it's my way of allowing you to be more participants of my videos than just spectators. So if you don't like it, that's okay. You don't have to do it, but if you do, I'd love to have you cast your vote. And let's put on the video camera. 4 people already liked the video, so thank you. I always appreciate those that take the time to hit the like button. It means a lot and it does help my channel. So welcome to all those that are in the live chat. And even if you are not one of my subscribers and this is the first video or maybe the 50th video, come join the live chat, because I always pick 1 if not 2 people in the live chat to be today's surprise subscriber shoutouts. What that means is if you get selected, in the comment section you could post a link to your YouTube channel if you have one, an Instagram page instead if you don't have a YouTube channel. If you still sell stuff on eBay, if you'd prefer to send a link to one of your auctions, you could do that. Just keep in mind I do have to verify it just to make sure it is something that is appropriate for all viewership. So if you're one of the people that is kind enough to leave comments and read other people's comments, if you see a link, that means it has been approved. So with that out of the way, I have the video camera on, and let's get to it. This is a book I bought back in New York, and I have one other copy of this book. It wasn't the one I originally thought it was, but that's quite all right. This is Cyberfrog #1. This is not his first appearance. There is an earlier version of Cyberfrog #1, which is a bluer one, and you'll see right over here, you'll see an H and then an upside down H. That's from, I think, 2014, I believe. But still, I paid $16.24 for this book, so it was worth it to take a chance. Ethan Van Ethan, he's the one that does the little quote when I was doing my intro on my earlier videos. I think it's Ethan Van Sciver. I don't want to pronounce the name wrong, but I thought that was cool. This is a book I would definitely recommend getting. So this is a potential key issue for future MCU movies. This is Secret Wars issue 1 of 5. Now, I did not write the significance of this book, but I do know there is a, I believe, a first appearance in this. Forgive me, I thought I wrote it down. I did not. But this is signed. This was actually signed by Brian Michael Bendis, and there is the certificate of authenticity. So this was signed. So this is Secret Wars. If somebody knows it, because like I said, I think it's the first appearance of Luciana, or it was the female version of Doctor Doom. I think her name was Luciana or something like that. I'm sorry, usually I'm more prepared and write them down. I thought I did. But I only paid $25 for this book. This looks like 9698 potential. Plus, with it being signed, it says limited signatures, 51 of 99. So I do know it is the first appearance of a female version of Doctor Doom. I think her name is Lucia or Luciana. If somebody could put that in the comment section, I'd really appreciate it. But this is definitely a book you may want to take the chance on. Whether they utilize her or not, who knows? But they're doing a lot of female characters. They have the What If series, so who knows if they go beyond season 1. Or, you know, they could just put her in somewhere on a TV show. But it might be something worth taking the chance on, especially if you can get it for cheap prices. This is the... Yeah, I believe... I'm not sure if they called it a second print. That's the weird thing about this book. But the easiest way to tell is it's got the white cover with the gold on. I see the shininess of the Secret Wars. So I'm not sure if this is officially a second print. It's been a little while since I've purchased any of these books, so normally I'm a little bit more prepared, so forgive me for that. But because this one's sealed, I couldn't open it up to see the barcode because it's not on the front. So forgive me about that, and I just spilled all the comics on the floor. That'd be cool if I just damaged them all, but luckily they didn't fall far. All right, so speaking of which, here is, okay, so I did write it on this one. So that one, it's not, I don't know if they call it a second print. I think they called it a commemorative issue. So I don't know if that's officially considered a second print. So it's a good question, but I think this one, it's just a little odd. But this is the first print. And this one was also signed by Michael Bendis, Certificate of Authenticity. This one is 219 of 399. Okay, so I did write on this one. It was the first Lucia von Bardas. So that is the female Doctor Doom. Again, what they do remains to be seen. But I paid $50 for this book. It was signed. It is definitely worth taking the chance on. As you could see, it's a little bit more of an expensive book. But like I said, I did get it signed. Well, I didn't get it signed, but I bought it signed. Again, this is a 9.8 potential. These books are totally undervalued. Just keep in mind, if you're, taking a chance on a book, there are risks involved, so there are no guarantees. So don't spend, your credit card money and your, gas money and stuff on stuff if you don't think it will work out. It may not, but I leave that up to you if you are going towards the speculation route. All right, so next up, I have several copies of this, but this one I got recently. This is the newsstand version. Now, not every newsstand variant is going to be worth more, because especially the older books, remember, there weren't as many comic book stores back in the 70s as there are today. So at certain points, there are certain books where the newsstand is actually not the rarer of the books. But I have several copies of this book. It just happened to be a newsstand variant, so whether that factors with this book will remain to be seen. This is absolutely a must-buy, in my opinion, especially if books like Hulk 180, 181, and Giant Size X-Men are out of your price range. Once they put officially an actor to portray Wolverine and they start doing trailers and teaser trailers and things like that, or at least, confirmations, what's going to happen to all those other books. They're going to get really out of reach. Then people are going to gravitate towards this book. So the idea is to get it before you can find it way out of your reach. I only paid $15 for this. Now, this is nowhere near a 9.8. It does have a little bit of a miswrap or a spine roll. It depends. But, I mean, that could be fixed with the pressing. It looks pretty decent. I would probably say 8.5 range as is. Pressing might bring it to a 9.0, 9.2. But this is Wolverine from the 4 series, limited series back in the Bronze Age. Definitely books to get. Love that cover. Definitely very iconic. Has been used many times by other artists. $15 to me is definitely worth getting. This one has no significance. I just love Golden Age books, especially ones of known characters. And for the price I paid for this, it was definitely a no-brainer to me. This is Plastic Man issue number... is it 4? Yes. Issue number 4. This is from 1946. So absolutely a Golden Age book. Now, obviously, this is not his first appearance or anything like that. I think his first appearance was in Police Comics. I'm not sure if that's the entire name, but I know it's Police. I'm not sure which number. But if you want to place that in the comment section, you are more than welcome to do that. And yeah, Rush said the Secret Wars white cover is a commemorative edition. So yeah, it technically wasn't a second print. They just called it a commemorative edition. It's just weird how they do things sometimes. But this one has definitely been loved. I mean, you could definitely see it's got a lot of tanning, but the cover's complete. The spine, it's a little bit of a spine roll. There's a bunch of ticks and everything. But I mean, for a book this old, I really cannot complain. There's a little bit missing there. There's some chipping along the edge. But overall, it looks pretty good for a book from 1946. With shipping and handling, I paid a total of $37.74 for this book. So to buy a book like this for under $40 complete, it's one of those thicker books. I mean, yeah, it's not going to be anything significant, and yeah, it's Plastic Man, but who knows? Maybe they might go that route if the Fantastic Four does very well. I mean, basically, Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic, basically was a more serious version of this character. So who knows? But for that price, I didn't want to pass it up. There's something about Golden Age books that I just really, there's something about owning them. So if you don't have a Golden Age book, I highly recommend adding at least one to your collection. I don't know, there's just something about it. All right, next up, another signed comic. I like to get these books from people that really, I don't know if they know what they're selling, but ended up paying almost the same price as an unsigned book. This is Uncanny XMen. This is issue 155. This is the first appearance of the Brood, which are alien-like creatures. Like, they kind of look very similar to the Alien movies from Alien. But this was signed by Jim Shooter. He is a hard signature to get. This book alone would be about a $30, $40 book unsigned. I paid $25 for this, including shipping and handling. So I don't know if Jim Shooter's one of those that charges to sign, but I guarantee if he did, it would probably be about the price I paid for the entire book. So this book, again, it's higher grade, but not in the 9s. Probably 8.0 to an 8.5. Maybe a pressing gives it a 9, I'm not sure. But it's another thing where there was rumors about the Brood ending up in the MCU. They would be some cool villains, and especially with now Marvel owning the Alien franchise, it might be a good starting point. But again, you're taking the chances, so if you think it's worth it, I mean, especially for a book that price, I mean, X-Men books are going to go up regardless when they start putting X-Men movies out, unless they go the Fox route with the movies, which I doubt they'll do. So any even minor significant X-Men book are going to see increases soon. So for that price, I couldn't pass up. All right, this is another book. I wish it was signed, but for the price I paid, this is Venom #1, but this is the 1 in 100 Virgin variant. In, again, 9.6 to 9.8 potential. I mean, it has a tiny little dot right there, but they allow that with a 9.8 on both top and bottom. Other than that, this book looks gorgeous. Corners are nice and sharp. The colors look amazing. With shipping and handling, I paid $43. So to me, that's not bad to be buying a book like this, a 1 in 100 Virgin variant of a very good series and a very good run of Venom books. $43, definitely worth it. Emma says, what causes wrinkles in the bag? Old age, for one. Sometimes if somebody keeps them where there's extreme heat and extreme cold, plastic will contract, and it could end up that way. It could be water damage. There's a lot of different factors, but a lot of times it's because people don't change their bags and boards, and after a while, the cheaper bags do break down. Now, I have comics in the original bag and boards that I put them in back in the 80s, and they still look brand new. So it all depends on how you store your comics. So I have had books that were literally not even in bags and boards, got them graded, and came back 9.2s and higher. Just because, remember, even a brand new book off a shelf is not a guarantee of a 9.8. Because if somebody's trying to search for the best one and they open it up to check it out, they could bend a corner. So just because something's brand new does not guarantee it's an automatic 9.8. Because remember, a lot of times they just put them on spinner racks or put them on the shelves, and they just take a whole bunch of them, squeeze them together, which is what causes a lot of, those non-color break increases in the spine. Is when the comic book dealer gets them out of the box, he just grabs them as a bulk, or she, and places them on a shelf, and I think they always necessarily handle them with extreme care. So that's how sometimes the tips of the corners get bent, and a lot of times, like I said, those non-color break increases happen in the spine. It's just, if you've ever done that, if you tried to lift up too many comics at once, they'll bend a little bit. So even a brand new book is not guaranteed to be a 9.8. So it really boils down to storage. I don't use Mylars. To me, I mean, it's a great thing, and it's one of the reasons why people hated on me for a while, because I was talking about Mylars not being as great as people say. I mean, they're good. Make no mistake, they are great. But if you have them in Mylars and use the double back and the half backs and the quarterbacks, and you put them near sunlight, or you put them next to a radiator, or you put them in an attic or a basement that's soggy and damp, it doesn't matter what you put them in, they're going to be destroyed. So the key thing is not what you put them in, but what you store them in. And that's why all of my books that I still have from the 80s and 90s, many of them have never even seen a bag and board, look brand new. So it's how you store them. So anybody that says you got to change your comic book bags every 5 years is probably somebody that's trying to sell you comic bags. Like I said, I have some of mine 30 years still in the original bag and board, and you'd think they were brand new. So it's how you store them. All right, so let's keep going. And like I said, don't forget to wait at the end. Make sure you've cast your vote. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look at the video I did a couple of days ago and just go to the community section of my main page. All right, I love me some signed books. This is Spawn number 250. I'm not sure if this was a variant or not. Yes, it's a 1 in 25 variant. Dual signed. Signed by Greg Capullo and Todd McFarlane. Now, this one didn't come with a certificate of authenticity, but I know Todd McFarlane's signature. That's very hard to imitate. And I also know Greg Capullo's. I have several of their books that were signed and witnessed. So, I mean, you're taking a chance regardless. But if you research and you know signatures, 9,999 times you will succeed over the one time you might get it wrong. I have yet to get one signature wrong. But I paid $80.66. Now, I mean, I have the first, like, 14, 15 issues of the original Spawn back in the days. But after that, I really just got turned off by Spawn. But this, make no mistake, is the longest-running independent comic in comic book history. So there is some significance, and there's still a lot of Spawn fans. But I don't know if issue 250 had anything significant. If you know anything about it, let me know. I bought it pretty much for the dual signature. $80.66. Again, I thought that was worth it. A lot of times you see a Todd McFarlane's signature, it automatically brings the book up to $100, even if it's generic. So to have it dual signed, and it's a 1 in 25 variant, for under $100, I thought it was worth it. All right, next up, this is definitely a book I highly recommend people getting. This is a higher grade of this book, and this is Uncanny XMen number 121. This is the first cameo. I'm sorry, no, this is the first full Alpha Flight. This is the one that's more desirable because this is the first time you see some of the members on the cover. So issue 120 is the first cameo appearance, but this is basically the Hulk 181 of the Alpha Flight universe. So this is going to be the more desirable, but when people ask me, oh, should I get, one or the other, I always say, if you're not sure, get both. Unless, of course, you can't afford it. But if you can only get one, this is the one to get. Now, of course, the first full appearance is not always the exception. Not always the rule. There are exceptions. Like, for example, the first appearance of Darkseid. It's the first cameo that's worth more than the first full appearance. So that's why I always tell people, make sure you do your research and know what you're buying. Less chance of getting burned if you know what you're doing. So this person claimed this is very fine to near mint. I agree. I think a pressing might help this, but doesn't really need it. The only damage I see is the corners are a little blunted. Looks like they somebody tapped it, or maybe because I just dropped them. But no, I think that was there already. That's why it's very fine near mint. But the spine looks perfect. I mean, it is a little misaligned, but you can get a 9.8 with that spine misaligned like that. So that doesn't affect the grade at all. That's more personal taste. But there have been rumors about Alpha Flight eventually with the X-Men or the MCU. Who knows? They might get their own TV show to try them out. But again, if you're going to take the chance on investing, better to do it beforehand than wait until after something's confirmed, because you'll probably at that point spend 10 times more than what it's worth. So I paid a total of $79.45 for this one. Definitely, if Alpha Flight ends up in the MCU, that will get graded. All right, 3 more books to go. And don't forget to sign up for the cashback program. If you spend $20 or more within the first 90 days of signing up, which is free to do, you click on the link in the description in the live chat, you'll get $20 cash back. If you're one of the people that spent $40, well, actually, they signed up back, I think it was November or December, where they had a $40 cash back if you spent $40 or more. That's still valid. If you sign up for the $40 or more, and you spend the $40 within the first 90 days, you'll still get the $40 cash back, so take advantage of that. All right, this is definitely another book I would highly recommend taking the chance on. You have two key people in this one, and this is in earlier appearances of this, especially this one character, which I'll show. This is Strange Tale number 107. So this is an early Submariner Silver Age appearance. I think it was 104 or 105. That was the first one. I know Strange Tales started with Human Torch at 101. So this is definitely, it's not a major key or anything like that, but definitely one that may be overlooked. And of course, we know Fantastic Four is going to be in the MCU. I really think the Submariner, even if it doesn't work out with Black Panther, I mean, if you know the history of the Submariner, he had a love interest, which was Sue Storm from the Fantastic Four. So that would be a good way to start him out as a potential, you know, because most people didn't, and I think that's why he didn't succeed too well in the Golden Age. They couldn't really put him either as a bad guy or a good guy. He was kind of sometimes both. So it would be a good way to introduce him in the MCU, kind of almost like a anti-hero or the villain, or what is perceived as the villain, and have that love interest with Sue Storm, and then go from there. So that might be a way to get him in if they don't go the route of Black Panther like they said they might be doing. But I paid, this is in really good condition. It does have some breaks. I would say this is probably about a 4 to a 5 range. Oh, and Silver Age Surfer just did a super chat. That's really nice of you. Let me see what he wrote, because if somebody's kind enough to do that, I want to make sure I mention it. Silver Age Surfer says, thank you for this channel and the information you provide. I appreciate your full disclosure approach with prices and letting us know what benefit you get when doing something, if anything. And thank you. I mean, that to me is important. Prices are everything. Because if somebody just shows you a book and doesn't tell you its value or what it's worth, I mean, it's not really helping you much. Then you're basically just watching somebody's inventory. I like to try and include people. I wanted this, that's why I didn't call this I Love Comics. I wanted it We Love Comics. And I want it to be something where it's informative. And it's basically, my channel's very good for newer collectors. I guess once you get to a certain point, my channel becomes irrelevant. But I like to make sure, because not knowing the price doesn't help you kind of get a general idea of what you could pay. Now, keep in mind, some of these books I may have bought with mega deals or got them a couple of years ago, so the prices may be different, but at least you can get a general idea. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that. That was very kind of you. So I'm not sure if I said the price, but I paid $145 for this book. I think it is definitely worth it, at least to take a chance on, especially with that grade. I mean, the cover, I mean, most of the damage is on the spine. I would rather have damage on a spine than on the cover. That cover looks gorgeous. I mean, you're talking a book from the mid-60s. Probably around 66, 67, somewhere around there. All right, 2 more to go. We have, this is definitely a key issue. I think I have 2 other copies of this book. But anytime I could find a deal, I'm going to get this book. And it's definitely one I would recommend you get. This is a DC comic, Batman number 251, which basically people say is really the first appearance of the modern Joker. Absolutely love this cover. It's just got some bright colors to it. It definitely depicts Joker in a really cool way. This is one that looks absolutely amazing graded. And it's one of those you hang up on the wall, even in lower grade. Now, this does have some tape on the cover. That really doesn't affect the grade unless, you know, they've taped the living daylights out of it, ripping apart. And I don't even see where the tape is. Oh, okay. There's a small little piece right here. It's yellowed a little bit. But that's not really going to do much to the grade. There is a color breaking crease that goes around the corner there. A few bends here and there. There's a little bit of spine ticks along here. To be expected. This book was probably highly loved. I see there's another piece of tape from here up. Again, not a major big deal, but again, the cover presents well. I only paid $84.70 for this book. If I ever got this graded, it could come back a 0.5 and I would do well. So it does pay to look for deals. They are out there. Never give up on a book, because you never know. If you look at the best offers, you'd be amazed at some of the deals I've gotten. I mean, I'll give you a prime example. 2 years ago, I bought a set of Incredible Hulk books. The price, I think there was like 30 books, and it came out to like $5 per book. One of them was a Hulk 180 that they didn't put in the picture for some reason, and it came back at 9.0. That's about a $1,300 book as of now, and I paid $5 for it. So there are always deals out there. You just got to put in the time and the effort. All right, last but not least, this book, I definitely think because of the TV show, is going to continue to start going back up again. This is one of the first books I bought as far as older books when I was a teenager, going into my local comic book store. I didn't know who this character was, but I saw this cover, fell in love with it. Unfortunately, my original copy got stolen, but this is now I believe my second copy. I think I might have sold one when I was moving from New York to Florida, but at least I have this one. And that, of course, is Avengers number 57, first appearance of Vision. Now, there is another one that's been gaining popularity. It's more of a modern book. It's the same image, but it was West Coast Avengers, where he's all white. I have that book as well. I bought that cover price, so it's somewhere in my collection. But, I mean, this is absolutely an iconic cover. Again, I didn't know who he was, but you see, basically, they show him towering over the rest of the Avengers. And when I saw this as a kid, I had to get it. Just a beautiful book. Paid $166 for this book. This book is easily between a 6.5 to a 7.5. There's maybe 2 spine ticks. The major damage, if you want to call it major, you can see right there, there's a corner dent. It's not missing, it's just dented. Other than that, this book is beautiful. There's a little pencil date there, but they do not take away with something like that. Some people, back in the days in the comic book stores, instead of a date stamp, they would do pencil. Or is that a date stamp? It's very faded. Oh, it is a date stamp. I'm sorry. Either way, it doesn't matter, because they would do it sometimes in pencil, sometimes with grease pen. But this book, and there is a little bit of color breaking along the edge here. It's very noticeable when you have a black background. So I would probably say with that, because I just noticed that now, probably about a 6.0 to maybe a 7. Probably 6.0 to 6.5 to be honest. But even still, for that price, definitely worth getting. So that is my story, and I'm sticking to it. Let me know what you thought about this little comic book haul, if there was anything there you've never seen before, or something that, you know, me showing it refreshed your memory on, or something you didn't know the significance of. That's why I always tell people to watch other people's videos. I do it all the time, because you never know. There might be a book you just did not know the significance of, or, you know, like they say, out of sight, out of mind. You totally forget about a book, and price is going down, or it might be you find a deal on eBay, or somebody willing to trade for you or something. You never know. It pays to watch these videos. So 28, well, now 29 people hit the like button. Thank you very much for that. I really do appreciate that. Somebody said earlier in the chat that I'm getting close to 10,000 views. I don't worry about the numbers, because to be honest, these days I don't get more than 350 to 400 views on my videos, which is fine, because I'll take quality over quantity. So the number 10,000 really doesn't mean much to me. But those that are here, you guys are the ones that mean everything to me. So I'm going to pick today's surprise subscriber shoutouts. I'm going to pick 2 of them. So if you want to put your name in there and say you want a shout out, I can pick you. Now keep in mind, if I already gave you a shout out, let's try and give it to someone else. Sometimes I may not remember if I gave somebody a shout out or not. But remember, if you do get one of the shout outs, you could post a link. If you have a YouTube channel, you could post your video or your channel link. If you don't have that, you could post a link to one of your social networks. Or if you sell on eBay, if you want to post an auction, you're more than welcome to pick one of those. I'll leave it up to you. Don't forget to cast your vote. And let's get today's surprise subscriber shoutouts. We're going to start with Daydora73. You are one of our surprise subscriber shoutouts. And we're going to go back a little bit. We're going to go to Emma Grenvaldas. I'm sure I butchered that, and if I did, I apologize. So Emma, You are today's surprise subscriber shout out, followed by Daedora73. So if you guys or gals have any of those things I mentioned and you want to place it in the comments section, please do. Just like I said, keep in mind that I do have to verify just to make sure everything is appropriate. So just understand that it might not be there right away. So don't forget to cast your votes if you want to be one of the people inclusive in the books that I will be sending out at the end of the month. Share it to other people, get them to cast their votes. And I really appreciate the kind words in the comments section, well, in the live chat. So thank you so much. 34 people liked it. I really appreciate it. I was supposed to be doing my PGX unboxing today. I got a link that 4 of my comics were going to be delivered. I checked the tracking number and it's being returned for insufficient address. So it's going back to it's going back to PGX, so they must have forgotten to write the lot number down or something, which is disappointing, and I really hope the box doesn't get damaged. But I guess it's going to be at least another week or two before I see them. So that's a little disappointing, but I got to make this video instead. So thanks for watching, thanks for participating, thanks for the thumbs up, and do not forget, it is not you, it is not I, it is we love comics. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. I look forward to reading your comments.